Hello, my name is Anton. This is Yuri, and we are open group. Um, yeah, we just I guess we will show you shortly what we are doing, our practice. Uh, we decided like to start with the open galleries. It's like a shorter, small presentation, even though it's kind of like old, like comparing to other works. But we think it's pretty important because that's how we started, and also like yeah, I think it had big influence on like what we were doing in the beginning, and also it's very different from what we are doing now. Um, so, Open Group as a collective was founded in 2012, and we used to like, yeah, friends. Some of us were studying together, and then in 2011, Juro, Polo, and Stas, one of the members, they founded this artist-run space, the Tempula, in Lviv, very non-commercial space, like for art. And why it's important? Because it's that space we call it the Tempula Gallery. It was like kind of like pretty much like a classic exhibition space, even though it was like in the kitchen of the place we used to live. We were like showing our works, our friends, etc. Open Gallery, the project next, was the first project of Open Group as a collective. And the collective was kind of like founded also around this space and the people like us who like were in constant discussion. And the Open Gallery is just opposite. It's like, it's very, the idea of this project was like exactly like to question like the exhibition space. What is exhibition space? What is art in it? Is it art outside exhibition space? Yeah, and then like, so it's kind of like very simple, like I would say, very simple approach, very simple like approach to this, to the representation of art. But what we did, we just like, we went with, let's define, let's define some borders of exhibition space in different kind of contexts, and like, let's see how it will influence like what will be read as art inside of those spaces. So for example, like one of the first one was this just like open gallery with like on the square in Lviv, and the idea was like we asked all our friends to bring only one piece of wood, right? And or there was also like a option to buy, like to donate for one piece of this plank, and but like not more than one. So it was important that like basically the amount of the gallery of this planks, the size of the gallery would very depend on the how community, like how much it will decide to be involved. So a lot of people actually brought the like money or like wood, and we built this like structure that we called Open Gallery. And as you can very easy see, like it's yeah, it's about like what's in gallery and what's outside, right? And what becomes the exhibition or the art. Yeah, like very very simple, but pretty much explains what we were into back then. Yeah, like some other semi-again approach in the forest, defined perimeter of some kind of also like exhibition space. This time this plan of the gallery was made with the chalk. Yeah, like, and so we painted it over the like forest ground floor. And it was just like this gallery in the forest, again, like creating its own context of the art, of the stuff, what was inside or outside. Same in another space I think it was like one of the contemporary art festivals, and we built this in a small hill. We built this a little like. Yeah, you can see it's kind of like a perimeter, but like it kind of being cut into this like small hill into the landscape, and again everything that like falls from the trees or like just being like thrown by like any garbage trash that being like thrown by the like some viewer of the festival becomes an art, obviously, yeah. And then we started like doing like some kind of exercises like this, and they became like different iterations of the same open gallery project. This one has this reference to the road signs, right? Like when you in Ukraine, I believe everywhere it's kind of the same, right? Like when you're entering some like village or town, you have the name, and like when you're leaving, the name is like crossed over. So same here, like we put the sign of the open gallery on the stretch of the road, like on the one side of the road, and like 200 meters after we put another sign, and it was like saying, yeah, the open gallery. You just like, yeah, you just have been in the open gallery, and now you're leaving the open gallery. And it was like, and it says gallery on the stretch of the road. Well, this one is like a little harder to explain, but the idea is the same. Like, we found this river that goes like through the like big part of Ukraine. It starts in the western Ukraine and goes to the Azov Sea. And where the river starts, we put again one sign saying this is the beginning of the gallery. And when the river was like at that point where it was going to this Azov Sea, we put another sign. This is the end of the gallery, basically saying that the whole thing, all the landscapes and views alongside the river, the direction of the river is the gallery, is is our exhibition. And then the next step was like we tried to think so who will see this gallery? Like how much it will take to see the whole exhibition of this gallery. And we tried. We gathered some of our friends, and we divided like this stretch in many parts, because it's a long river. It's more than like 1,000 kilometers, the length of it. So, and we did part one, where we got to some point in western Ukraine. And then there was like a second part. So it took some amount of time, I believe like 1 week or something. You can see we built a boat. We were on that boat. We were like filming the landscape. We did some, we crossed some part of the river view. And then the second part, like, and then we started over, like in a year or something. We gathered again another team, and we did the part 2, and we continued the trip again, like for a week. And I believe it was supposed to be like 5 or 6 parts like that to get at some point to the Azov Sea. But then at some point, Crimea happened earlier, but then the war happened, right? And now after the occupation of the major southern part of Ukraine, it's kind of like it's already impossible even to get to the Azov Sea. But hopefully someday we will finish this trip and we will see the whole gallery. And that's another thing, another approach, illuminated area. It's like a gallery lights, but again, like defining the space of the gallery exhibition, but with the other tools. This time, not the plan itself, not like some lines of the some imaginary walls, but just gallery lights. So like we built this structure like with like pretty strong and professional gallery lights, and we built it we installed it in outskirts of Kiev. This is the lights view, the nights view. This is how it looked like. Yeah. So this was the open gallery. We made a few other things in the open gallery, but I think those were like pretty illustrative for this like big part of our practice, especially in the beginning of open galleries. And now we will like move to another. To more like, to other type of works. Okay. Well, Ars longa vita brevis. It's long. It's kind of like really. It will take long to explain this very sound name title, but the work consisted of like 58 frames like this, and it was like 2014. No, yes, 2013. We started and finished in 2014, and through the whole duration of this project, we were during the like 10 hours per day. It was like 2013, and we were like wearing, each of us, such a like very like at this point, like when I'm trying to remember this, it was very funny construction, but it was like back to again, it was like 2013. And this pretty big art institution and their like tech team came up with this like solution. So they built this like kind of like some kind of it wasn't a hat, but it was like some stretching thing that on which we were wearing the web cameras. Can you believe it? Like really web cameras on like here, and they were connected to the small processors in another like bags. And so 4 of us were walking, like living like this every day, and translating, like streaming everything, like what we see, what we experience in this also kind of another in the same art institution is like, you can see the online stream of this like 4 cameras. And the idea was again like to define this, the perimeter of art, but in this case just by our like own site, or like in this case by the cameras. So like you can see how we what we see every day. And once a day we were like, when we were like deciding, okay, what kind of context we want to encircled or like highlight, we were basically recording those, like we were like standing in like, let's say 4 different points, creating this like perimeter of the open gallery. But this time this perimeter was defined only by our side and by the camera, streaming. So, and in the frames you can see all of those like 58 spaces we created, like open galleries we created every day, and like with like some small artifacts and descriptions. And I know it's like, it's pretty, first of all, it was like the beginning of streaming back then. Second, it was 2013. I don't know if you like, who knows from you, but in Ukraine it was Euromaidan. It was the beginning of the revolution of dignity, and those like the new technology of like just like streaming, online streaming on YouTube and like other things were just appearing. And we didn't even want to, we didn't even plan to, but just like living in Kiev, at some point we started like streaming the revolution that was happening like around us, like barricades, people like protesting, Maidan at nights, and like many of those frames have actually like, we're like have very like close relation to the different like elements of the revolution and the Maidan itself, like the infrastructure. And so it's kind of like, it also became an archive of the of this resistance, but also like very interesting elements of the revolution itself. Anyway, it took, yeah, it's a very complicated project, and it takes some time to explain it, but it is very like, I believe it, like it was very special. And then like some other ones, like biography. We started like working with this like phenomenon of like, what does it mean, like biography, right? What is it? And what we did, we asked different people, like to come. So we made this kind of like a small office in Pinchuk Art Center in Kiev, when we were recording like people's stories and things. But what was interesting about it, we asked people to bring their like biographies, and we installed such a table. You can see it there, yeah, on the right. We were like rewriting those biographies in such a really like this really thin strip of paper, basically, that will so you can have only like one sentence there, right? So one person outside here, in this case Yura, was reading those biographies of people outside of the institution, basically in this public space, like on the street. And the sound was like coming to the space inside of institution. And in this case, I was listening and just rewriting this biography into those rolls of this of paper, with this like really thin strip. And the final artifact of this, there were like many other things, like small jests, like exercises about like thinking about what does it mean biography and so on. But the main artifact of this project is, you can see on the left, it's like this huge roll of this like thin strip of paper where you had like at this point probably like 600 biographies, and the whole roll is like around like 4 kilometers. So yeah, it's and mostly it's also the way how we're like showing it. We're basically like showing this roll of paper, or always, of course we can at some point. I believe the last time we were doing it in Lublin.
Yes.
In 2018, on the market square, and but also like but since then we didn't like, yeah, we didn't continue like to add more biographies because we had other things to do. Yeah, this is already synonym to wait. Yeah, again, like so much to explain. Um, uh, yeah, this is the, so 2015. It's the invasion of. This is the beginning of war. So like the occupation of Crimea was like earlier, 2014, but then like the Russians like went like fully into the continental part, like occupying Donbass. So 2015 was the beginning of the war, and it was our first piece about the war. And in this, like, so we made this synonym to wait. And like at that point we were like, well, the war was just like so much like unknown territory, like was such a weird thing like to think about, to contemplate, and not so many people actually had like experience with it. It's like it's uncomparable to what's happening now. But back then, like you had volunteers who went to fight to Donbass. Like some people were drafted, but not like in such amounts. And the war was at some point in the beginning was like at, I think the enterprise of like some chosen people or like volunteers, and and this work is about like those volunteers who were like going, who were like serving in different like brigades on the front line, and we at their like homes in the patios where they live in different cities of Ukraine, we installed the cameras. And we were like, the idea was like to watch these cameras, the footage, like the online footage from these cameras every day, and to catch the moment when the person was like coming back from the war. And why it was like possible, because at that point, as I said, like so many volunteers were like fighting in the army, so there was no so much like the terms on which they were like serving were very different. So they could come, they at some point they could decide like, I'm done, like I had enough, and they were like coming home. And it's not like now, maybe you heard, it's, yeah, to get demobilized from the army now is like very hard. But back then it was possible. And so we installed like nine cameras in 9 different like houses in 9 patios, waiting for this moment of like soldier coming back home, opening the door, like meeting his family. Very sentimental project, but also like we were interested just in this idea of like people waiting for this person, because it's yeah, it was just the beginning of this like of war, like of this like huge hyper object just like emerging in this Ukrainian in Ukrainian context, in Ukrainian consciousness. So we were Yeah, the other part, like after we in Venice Biennial, we installed those like also 9 screens. There was a performative part where each of us was coming. We were living in Venice, but like for 20 days, each of us was like sitting there, coming to this pavilion and sitting there for 10 hours, like watching those screens and like trying not to miss this moment when if the person would come back home. In 3 months, I think we witnessed like 2 of them. Yeah. 2. Yeah. And then you can see, yeah, if the person like came back home, like the screen went black and it was like saying, yeah, the person came back. So yeah, in 3 months we were, yeah, we witnessed 2 of them like coming back home. The part of the performative, of this like performative element was also that we refused to eat during those like days we were sitting there, like, so we went on like hunger strike or like, you call it how you wish, but it wasn't like political, but it was like the idea of like just to have this like solidarity with people waiting for their loved ones, and like just to understand what does it mean to wait for something like for many like, yeah, for a long time. And so yeah, in the end, like I think each of us had like from 20 to 25 days of like fasting, like not eating at all. In one, not like by, not in total, but like really the whole period. Like 20 euro was like sitting, then Stas changed him, and he said like for 20 another days, then me, then Pavlo. So that was like things we used to do. And there was like the other part was like these tables of the families on the other side of the wall, like, and like, yeah, the tables from the houses of those like soldiers. Very sentimental project, yeah. But also like it became very like physical and personal. And yeah, the whole thing, it was installed in this glass cube that was built by Pinchuk Art Center, this like institution, Ukrainian art institution, on one of the, yeah, on Venice Biennial, during the Venice Biennial, and on this very like crowded stretch of the road between Giardini and Arsenale. Backyard again, the second our piece about the war, and was also like showing at Venice Biennial. We recorded we asked 2 different women to describe, to try to remember and describe their destroyed houses. So one woman was she was like describing in all the like details her home that was destroyed during the Second World War II, and like the people we invited like to collaborate with us, they were like they did this like model, like 3 model of like from those memories, and then we built the real models, the physical models of those houses. So you see, here's this is the house that this person in Poland, she was like, yeah, she was describing her house in that was destroyed during the Second World War, and the other house was destroyed in 2015 during the invasion to Donbass. So the other woman, obviously she was younger, her memories were like much more fresh, and but yeah, but you can see here the other model of the house. Yeah, Yura is saying that here's some publications, yeah, of us, of our practice. The black ones are the biennial catalogs for our curatorial project in Ukrainian Pavilion in 2019 in Venice. The smaller, colorful is the recent one in 2024 from Polish Pavilion in Venice. And with the hardcover is the our curatorial project about the collective practices in Ukraine. So yeah, just feel free to to see, to check. And okay, I will this is we talked about open galleries at this 1000 view exclusive for internal. How much time do we have? Because it's like some of those are 15-20 minutes. I will skip this. This is too much, too long to explain. And this one, this is the video, like some kind of like mirroring the situation of like open group, but like we just invited like actors to play some kind of ideal version of open group of this like collaboration. Anyway, it's a funny video. I think that this one is interesting, but also not so easy to explain. But this one is it has this it's related to our context of Uzhhorod, where we are from, but also to this like post-Soviet, like Soviet heritage, post-Soviet heritage. And in the place where Pavlo Kovac, the member of Open Group, his father like has this studio in Uzhhorod, which is also kind of iconic place because it's where all the artists like were working during the Soviet times, and where they were producing like different like decorative like projects, works for the different public spaces. So you can see like there were like, since we really remember ourselves, since like we were just visiting this place, we remember those like planchets, those it's kind of like a canvases, and they were kind of meant to be like an advertisement for those artists of those like union artists, what they can do, like, and what they already did, like what they already made. And on top you can see the original one. If here you can see like two of them. So on top you can see the original one, and it shows you the, for example, like some sgraffito or like some mural or like some mosaics. And the idea was like, you can definitely say that the documentation is like from, I don't know, maybe from the 90s, maybe from the end of the 80s. And the idea was like to visit all those places in this our region, and to bring all our community on this like bus you can see there. So like we rented this like huge bus, and like we packed there probably like 40-50 people of our friends, everyone who visited this place, and we were like, and we did this whole day trip through all those like, I believe like 14 locations. So you can see here, it's like the big picture is a famous railway station, and you can see this like huge sgraffito, right? And on the left you can see, I think it's like some like school and mosaics, right? And the idea was like just to go there and do this group photos. in the places, obviously, like 30, 40 years after, in another context. Most of those like buildings are in really like they are like slowly decaying, right? And many of those mosaics, especially those which are exposed to the like outside, they're actually like slowly like being destroyed. So in the end, the final exhibition of this project was like this, the row of those, again, of those like stretched like canvases, but yeah, the top one is the original one, and the below it is the new one, with the already like the same context, like the same place, the same object, like, but with our group photo. And yeah, and the copy, the new ones, the copy of the new ones was made by the same artist who made the original ones back in the beginning of the 90s. So it's kind of, it's so much about just this our like, yeah, like understanding of like where we came from, and some also like traditions of like of this Eastern European tradition of art, especially very much influenced by the Soviet Union, by the Soviet traditions. That project was very like community, like important for the community in our town. This Untitled is so you can see the table and printer, right? And we started this project in 2015 when the war in Donbass started. And again, it's another attempt to understand what war means. Well, what does it mean? How it happens? Especially what is our understanding of the casualties and like of people who died or like disappeared during the war. So at some point we like, hey, do you like for example, for you to understand, in 2015 the official number, the UN number of casualties in Ukrainian war was like something around 5,000 people. And we were like, okay, this is crazy. Like 5,000 people is like, it's a lot, but also what does it mean? Like how much is it, like 5,000 people? Because obviously then you can see the constant like increase in those numbers, and at some point it just becomes like so much like abstract to you. And we're like, let's try to like understand how much is like 5,000, how much is like 7. And in 2017 it was already like 9. And it was just like occupation of Donbass. And so what we did, we agreed on writing down every acquaintance we have in our like lives. So for example, if I met today somebody and I ask his name, I'm writing down like I met this person, and I met today like one person, or like or two, or I hadn't met anyone today, for example. And so what happened? We tried to understand the amount, like the numbers, by just like meeting like people like in our lives, and like just understanding how much you can meet in 1 month, in 1 year. So for example, 4 of us, yeah, the other part was we created this for the Venice Biennial in 2017. We created this application where at some point we could like input the real data of like, okay, I just met a person. So I'm like putting this data, I'm like putting like I met Anton, met this person name, the context and date, and it goes online to this like server, and it prints out the name of this person on this like huge roll of paper. So how it was like. It was presented like this, for example, in 2017. It was like this like huge table in this palazzo with this printer working like 24/7, printing like all the people like we're like meeting now in current moment. And also like we brought all the information like we were writing down like before, so we also like fit it in to this like application. And for this exhibition in 2017, we had already, I remember at the opening, the role had 1,700 people. So 4 of us in 2 years, together in total, met 1,700 people. And the official statistics of the victims in Ukraine, by then it was already 9,000. So it's like at some point it became like, okay, we are writing down this information, like we're even trying to meet people, like we're trying not to forget anybody, but the numbers of the casualties started like to increase like dramatically. And yeah, in 2017 it was already 9,000, and we met at this point. And we at that point in 2017 we made like 1,700. So why it's important? Because this project is ongoing. The last time we showed it in New York last spring, and at this point we have there almost like 3,000 people, and but now you can imagine that the official number of victims of Ukrainians that are like died, civilians that died or like disappeared during the full-scale invasion is far like beyond 9,000, 10, 20, 30. Like we don't have official even numbers now. We have like official numbers of the like civilians that you can that the state is giving you, but the amount of the soldiers, the amount of the army is if you're following the war, it's like it's never being like announced like clearly enough. It's like it's around between like 40,000, 60,000, but then like you have a huge amount of like missed in action soldiers. So you can definitely say that because Pavlo, one of the members, he's serving in the army, and in his opinion, the number is even far beyond the 100,000, right? So even though this project is ongoing for us, we probably we will never reach this because the idea was like to stop doing this when we will be able like to reach the amount of the casualties. But since then the full-scale invasion happened, and now we have this dramatically different level of the numbers of the statistics. And we probably will never be able to reach that number with our acquaintanceships. So the whole project just became kind of like, just this mm, well, it's a yeah, it's about this eternity. It's about like life, and obviously it's about death, but it's also about this uh, like futility of like of any this like artistic encounter, like or like artistic attempt to understand, to create like some yeah, to create like some obvious, some clear image of what happened. Like we will never know, and we will and the art also will, like even with like this art attempt, with this art approach, we will never be able like to conclude, to finish, and to understand. Uh, yeah, this is like just different images of the. This is from New York in 2008, last spring. This is one of the new pieces, waiting room. It's a waiting room of Mariupol railway station. If you know, Mariupol was occupied and heavily bombarded and destroyed in the first year of the full-scale invasion, and the railway station also was like completely destroyed. And we made this like model of, you can see here like the close-ups, and we decided like to create this yeah, like this model, this of Mariupol station, of Mariupol waiting room in, of only waiting room in a Mariupol railway station. And in a way, it's like it's a symbol for us. And yeah, and the other part was this: you have the slide projection that like shows obstacles of, like you can see here on the wall, right next to the station. You can see the slides, and on the slides you can read the obstacles of different people, how they disappeared in Mariupol. So like there is a Telegram chat and where families, relatives are looking for people who disappeared in Mariupol during the first months, during the first year of invasion. Like Mariupol was like heavily bombarded, and because it was the city was like taking so swiftly by Russians, we still don't know how many people died there, and especially there's like just like so many people just disappeared, and their families are still in those Telegram chats. They're like still looking for those people, and they're like posting this very short conditions, like of the how the when the person was seen the last time, what it was wearing, what happened. So we took those descriptions and yeah, and like we used them in this like slideshow, and it's 80 different conditions of this of the people like went missing, and it goes together with this like waiting room, right? So it's like waiting room of the already destroyed Mariupol, yeah, waiting room in Mariupol station. And right. This is, I will go fast with this one. This one is, we made this in Kosovo, in ex-NATO base, and here you can see the three plans. So this one has already some reference to the open galleries, but in this case, these plans are real, and these plans are the real, uh, like one-to-one, like scale plans of the three destroyed museums in Ukraine during the Russian invasion. So actually there were like many thousands different like small regional local museums were destroyed on the east. But we went with these ones just because of the size, because we could fit them on this parking lot. And there were like 3 like small regional museums, and yeah, one in Kharkiv region, one in Kiev, one in I believe also in Kherson. So yeah, this one kind of like has this like reference to our like original initial like the beginning of our practice, but now this has another connotations. This is the repeat after me. And I think yeah, the repeat after me is. Шукаю. Шукаю. Black was this? No. Where's the browser? Yeah. Yeah, we will put this, it's like 6 minutes trailer. We will put the trailer and then maybe we even don't have to like watch all of it, but and then after we will explain like what's happening here.
– 16 березня я з родиною і сусідами прийшли в театр в Маріуполі, бо це було місце сховку, люди там збиралися. Ми заселилися, і я вийшла провідати свого дядька, який жив на сусідній вулиці. І коли поверталася назад, я почула звук літака, злякалася, почула, що він десь скинув бомби, і коли підійшла до театру, побачила, що він зруйнований, що дуже багато людей постраждали. Я в істериці бігала навколо театру, розуміючи, що там всередині знаходиться моя родина. Але їм дуже пощастило, вони були в тій частині театру, яка найменше постраждала від удару. І ми знайшлися і втекли від театру якомога подалі. Авіабомбардування. Повторюйте за мною. Повторюйте за мною.
Мене звати Галина. Я приїхала з Запорізької області, города Полог, у 23-му році. Вертольот. Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум. Дуже рвались бомби. Бум, 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 бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум. Бум-бум-бум-бум. Повторюйте за нами. Бум-бум-бум-бум-бум-бум-бум-бум.
So this is repeat after me. This one is from 2024. Yesterday in Prague we opened the 2022 version. This is also the work we showed in Polish Pavilion at this last Venice Biennial. So in the idea of the film was to understand, again, it's about war, but again, the approach was like to talk about war, but trying to explore some like not very like obvious, more like subtle, like elements or like features of war. And we were like we were thinking about the sound of war for a while, and but then in 2022, 1 month before the invasion, actually, Ukraine published this leaflet when officially, like, Ukrainian government was saying that like invasion will not happen, everything will be fine. On the with the other hand, they issued this like small manual for the Ukrainians, for the civilians, that was like saying, like giving like some instructions, what should you do like in case of like if war will happen. And there was like this, in this leaflet, the first time we encountered this like this instruction that that was saying basically your actions, what you should do would really depend on like what kind of weapon systems are used next to you. So if it's just like strike weapons like AK-47, you don't really, you just can stay at home, like don't really show up like from the windows, just you will be fine. If it's like mortar systems, you have like 5 minutes to go to the basement. If it's ballistic missiles, you don't have time at all. You just better run to your to some room that has like 2 walls in your apartment and like cover yourself in this embryo position in your bathtub. If it's drones, you have like 15 minutes. So basically, they were like saying, the sound is very crucial. If you will learn how to defer, how to recognize different sounds and like to understand, to identify what kind of weapon is it, you will have better chances, because you will have better chances to survive, because you will know what to do and how much time you have. And then like we understood like, well, sound is not just like very subtle and interesting element of war, but it's actually very crucial for your like survival in this in the combat zone. So we went with this project. We filmed like refugees. We filmed like people who were like running from the territories that like were already occupied, or like where the combat was like happening. So in 2022 we filmed 10 people. Few months after the invasion, we filmed like 10 people in Lviv in the refugee center, and we asked them about the weapons they witnessed. And we asked them like to repeat those sounds, right? And like, so in a such way we gathered this like library of different like sounds of different like weapons used by Russians. And you can see the structure of the video is built that the person is saying what kind of weapon it is. If maybe the person will say how it encountered this weapon, if she or he has like some like memory about this, about the situation, and then the person will start imitating the sound. And after, the person will ask you to repeat the sound after them. And the what's happening next, that like you basically you will find yourself in this karaoke situation where you will see the yellow font like running down, and you just have to repeat the sounds you just heard. And so it's in a way, it's a karaoke instruction where you can learn the sounds of different weapons, and you have this chance to acquire this knowledge of these people who actually paid a lot to also like to have this knowledge, and now they're like conveying this knowledge to you, and you can learn from them. But obviously you also can just link to them and like and learn, see what they went through. And so the video has like different layers, obviously, and it's about like personal experience of these people that you are trying again like to link with. And but there's also like this manual part that like you can really use this knowledge for your own benefit in case you will find yourself in a combat zone soon. And I know it sounds like a little crazy, but but this is also the part like we at this point we showed this work in many countries and also in Venice Biennial, and depend on what kind of country it is, like the public's reaction is very different. So for example, like in France or like somewhere in maybe like France, Germany, Denmark, people were not like so like seriously like taking this as a manual. But people in Finland, like they were like for real like standing there and like they were like really trying to learn the sounds, and like really like thinking about this like as a manual, right? As their chance to acquire this knowledge, this proficiency in sounds of the weapons. We made 2 videos, one in 22, and the second one was made in 2024, specifically for the Venice Biennial. And the difference between 22 and 24 videos are that 2022 was made in Ukraine, in Lviv, with the people who just run from those like occupied territories. And the 2024 was made with the Ukrainian refugees who were like at that point, who were like living in 5 different countries, and they have been in this like status of refugee for a year or even longer. And there's also like this difference. So there's a difference in geography, and there's a difference in yeah, in like people like being like inside or outside Ukraine, and also there's like this like gap in time. It's like 2 years. So in 2022, you can tell that people are like, it's those memories are very fresh, but they're also kind of like full of hope that soon this war will be over. And the video of like 2024, you already can tell that those people, they actually don't believe that this will happen, like that the end will come soon to it. And yeah, you just saw the trailer from 2024, and please come to this photo zone gallery here in Prague to see 2022 version. It will be there till March 19. Yes. Yeah, I think probably this is it. And yeah, please, yeah, do you have questions?
Does it work? Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for. Yeah, sure. We will go to the questions now. I just wanted to thank you again
Thank you.
for presenting. It's super super strong, and yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming.
I have so many questions, but I'll leave it to you definitely, because that was very engaging. This was just one thing that I forgot to mention in the start, that unfortunately Barbara is not here, but you just opened a show here in Prague yesterday at Photograph Zone Gallery in the Prague One, so I encourage you all to see the show. I don't know for how long it's going to be there, but it's
Till
gonna
March
be
19.
till March 18. Okay. So please go and see the show. It is a very interesting installation. And yeah, I just wanted to say just one little note, when I saw this piece, I was like, I'm so happy that I had a chance to see it in Venice 2 years ago. And I just remember that it really influenced me a lot, because everyone was back then standing these like super large queues to the Egyptian pavilion that was kind of close by. And it was very much about like, do you know someone in the line? Like, it was about networking, because the line for the Egyptian pavilion was like for hours. It was like that hotspot in Venice always has these hotspots where people at the preview wait for hours and hours. And I just remembered, I'm just gonna describe that very briefly, but I remember that after that queuing, I went to see the Polish pavilion where you exhibited. And I was really, really touched. I was like, it was really strong and such an amazing installation, and I just was really blown away. And then I just went outside, and I was sitting at that little garden that's there, just really staring at the trees. And I was like, okay, I just need to kind of go back to this Venice preview madness when I'm like meeting people, and I'm really happy. But it really took me like 20 minutes to kind of shake it off. So it influenced me a lot. So I'm really grateful that we also have you here tonight, and we can speak about the work again. But anyway, I'll just give a word to you. So if anyone have a question, please raise your hand, and I'm just going to give you the mic. Yeah.
Thanks. I wanted to ask. I know that you're like that. You have like some base of members of your group, and then you, for different projects, you invite someone, or it changed. That's why it's open. But I wanted to ask how, because you're working for more than 10 years together already. So how did your like dynamics of group members and like your work style changed through like this time, like evolved or just changed? Can you like map it? Yeah, it interests me.
Well, it's in a way it's also just yeah that there were like 6 founding members in 2012. And yeah, and then like the first left basically in the first year, the second person left in another next year, and then only four of us so it's like four of us stayed till 2019, and the pavilion of Ukraine in 2019 was this like very also like changing experience for us. It was like pretty intense politically, and one person after 2019 he also left. He said like it was too much, too intense, and he also needed like to take care of his own practice, health, and like many other things. So yeah, it's also so in a way like, and it's only like now it's three of us who stayed from that initial amount of members. So it takes some toll on you, like just working all the time with friends, with the colleague, like with your friends, colleagues, but like obviously sometimes there is like heavy discussions, and and so sometimes it's just like not so easy to have your own individual practice with the collective practice, right? I think this is also like this main thing that we are here, like, if I believe many of you are here like practicing artists, so you have your own like individual practices, right? And then you have to somehow, if you would involve yourself in such a kind of collective activity, you would need at some point to find this balance between like your individual practices, what you would prefer to do on your own, and this field of discussion, this collectivity where like what you want is not like obviously is not like what you want or what you feel or what you like is always up to discussion with other members, and the final, let's say, the outcome, the final work is always some kind of compromise for many views, let's say. So I think I definitely know that for the first two members who left, they struggled a lot with exactly with this element of having together your own individual practice, just being so much used to this comfort of like when you just do your own thing and you can decide everything and have this freedom, because art is so much about freedom, right? Like, and this comfort of like creating, but they needed like to find this other mode of like functioning with where you have to discuss, where you have to like, when your decision is never like a final, right? When you have to always come to some like compromise, or you have to or you have to basically be very persisting on your like, and and like till being very very like ensuring in your own like thoughts, ideas, and saying to others like, this is how it's supposed to be, we have to go with this. But it's, from our experience from 10 years, it's never like this. It's always about compromise in the end. So this is the main dynamic, I think, that like the practice we are used to have on our own is always it's very different from like what you have when you're like creating things together. But it's also the point of it, because to have this like space of dialogue, to have this space of discussion, this was initially also like the purpose of creating this collective, the purpose of creating also the artist-run space we had. It was all about creating this space where we can talk, discuss, and then at some point we got to this moment where we also can make things together, but again only like coming from this like place of discussion and debating. Yeah, a lot of debating, a lot of sometimes very intense. Yura. say something.
Is there any other question? Okay, so we will have like, we still have like 10 minutes break before our seminar, so I would wrap it up now. So thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for coming. Sorry if it was like too long or like too complicated. You didn't get many. I mean, you know, it's like sometimes we call it like conceptual baroque. You know, it's like some of like those projects are so layered, and you really need time to explain it. It's really hard to do it like in 1 hour, like 10 years of practice. But like, thanks for your patience, and yeah, thanks for coming.
I think it was fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is our first seminar this semester with the students, so can we meet here in 10 minutes, please? Yeah, okay. Thanks a lot.